What's up, everyone? This video is going to be all about my new indicator that automatically calculates the amount of shares or contracts you should buy when you have a predetermined entry and a stop, as well as a predetermined amount you're willing to risk on a single trade. This indicator works for stocks and futures. I know not everybody enters trades based on these calculations, but if you do, this is going to help you enter trades much faster and help you stay focused on the charts. One last thing, guys. If you're part of the Discord group, you may have already noticed there's been a bit of a name change. This is something I've been thinking about for a little while now. I just wanted to launch something a little more official. And when looking for a website name, all the TradeSimple names were already taken, and I really didn't want to be associated with anybody else. So I had to come up with something a little more original. So I really like saber-tooth tigers, and I like trading, so why not make a thing out of it? So with that, I'm also launching a new website, TradeSaber.com. And here you're going to find the same things, all my indicators, strategies, the price action buttons. You're going to be able to find them a little bit easier here. But don't worry, I'm still on a Discord. I'm still going to be uploading everything there as well. So really not much is changing except the name. But with that being said, let's get into it. Okay, so first off, this is an indicator. So we're going to right click, go to indicators, and now instead of the TradeSimple folder, we're changing everything to the TradeSaber folder. So double click on that, and let's load the auto share calc indicator. Your first parameter is your max loss per trade, and here you can select how much you're willing to risk on each single trade. Now keep in mind, this will not exit you out when you reach this loss amount. This indicator will not enter any trades, nor will it exit you out of any. This indicator just takes the range that you select, and with a formula, it's going to automatically calculate the amount of shares or contracts that should be purchased if you were to enter and get stopped out at those same levels. And another thing, it does not take into account any slippage on your entry or your stop, nor does it take into account any fees that are associated with any of the trades. With futures, because of the tick size and the value of the contracts, this may not be as accurate as if you were trading, let's say, stocks, where you can stop out right to the exact cent, plus or minus some slippage, of course. And one last thing before we go through some examples, you have to make sure your max loss per trade is big enough to cover the range of the size of the trade you're wanting to enter. So for example, the minimum order quantity this is going to give you is 1. So if you're trying to enter a trade with a max loss of $100 and the range that you're trading is a 30 tick range, obviously that's not going to work out very well. You're going to lose quite a bit more than the $100. So just keep that in mind and make sure your risk size is appropriate for the range you're trying to trade. Okay, so from here, I'm going to set this to $1,000, and that's how much I'm willing to risk on this particular trade. So I'll go through the candle range and the offset in just a minute. First, I want to show how this indicator works, and then we can start customizing a little bit. For your entry and your stop, you're able to select the candle you want to use for your range. So when we say entry candle used and a value of 1, it's going to look at your current candle and 1 back from there. If you were to set it to 2, it's going to be your current candle and 2 candles back. 3, current candle, 1, 2, 3 candles. So for this example, we're going to keep our entry at 1 and our stop at 1. And then I'm going to hit apply. So when it loads, you're going to see 2 lines and 2 buttons. So your green line is going to be your entry line. Your red line is your stop line. And then if we look at the lower left corner, we can see the price of the entry line, the price of the stop line, your max loss that you have selected, you can see the range in price. So a $3.50 range is the same as 14 ticks. And you can see the position size that it tells you to enter. And now this will automatically update your order quantity window. So as soon as it updates, you're able to place an order right away. Okay, let's hit play. Up here, you have the long range. This is if you're trying to go long, it's going to set your entry up top. If you're trying to go short, you can just click it. It's going to pretty much reverse everything. So now your entry is at the bottom, your stop is going to be at the top. And if you click it again, it just hides everything. So we'll select long and we'll enter a trade up here. So it automatically has it at 6 contracts. And let's speed this up a little bit. And from here, let's place a stop market order right down here. And now before we move on to the next candle, this indicator is going to constantly update on each new bar. So if you don't want it to update and you want to stick to these same levels, you can head up to your unlock button and push it once where it says locked, and it's going to keep your order quantity the same. And now there we just got stopped out. So that's a little bit bigger loss than the max loss that we had predefined before. That's because there was a little bit of slippage entering and exiting as well. And again, with futures, the contract size, the tick size, that's going to affect that as well. So this is never going to be 100% perfect. So just bear that in mind. Okay, let's go back to that 1120. And now we're going to go through all the parameters, and this is just so we can compare what each thing does. Okay, so now that we're back into our parameters, let's go through them. Our candle range is going to look at the highest and the lowest point of our entry candle and our stop candle that we're using. So for example, let's say I want to go long over the previous candle. We will keep our entry candle as 1. And let's say instead of having my stop right directly below the previous candle, I want to look at the previous 5 candles and put my stop at the lowest point of those. So you can set this to 5, and that's going to set your stop at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to take these 5 candles and it's going to set your stop at the lowest point. So it should set it right here. And let's hit apply. We have to hit play. And now you can see our stop is set at the lowest point of these 5 candles, and our entry is set just at the previous candle. Now we'll head back to the indicators. So when we unselect candle range, this is just going to look at the exact candle that we define here. So for your entry, it's just going to look at this candle. And for your stop, it's just going to look at candle number 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So instead of taking the lowest point, it's just going to set it right at this candle. So let's hit apply, and we'll see that without the candle range. And you can see it's right there. And every time it's going to keep updating the order quantity depending on the range and your max loss. Okay, let's head back into the indicator. We're going to select the candle range again because I want to get the highest and the lowest point. And now we're moving on to our offset. And what the offset does is it lets you set your entry and or your stop beyond where they would be set at. So for example, if we select our entry, I want to set my entry, I don't know, two ticks above the high of candle number 1. And for my stop, let's say 5 ticks below the lowest point of the previous 5 candles. So let's hit apply and we'll hit play. So from here, you can see our entry line moved 2 ticks above and our stop line moved 5 ticks below. And from here, if we go short, we can see now that our entry is at the bottom, so it's 2 ticks below the previous candle, and our stop is 5 ticks above the highest of the last 5 candles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This candle is the highest, so it's going to be 5 ticks above this candle right here. And you can see we have 4 for the order quantity. But when we switch back to the long range, because now our parameters are a bit different because of the way the candles are set up, now it automatically moves it to a 3 for the order quantity. So this is going to constantly keep updating on each new candle. Let's speed this up so we can see how it functions. So on each new candle, it's just going to keep moving. And once we're set with the price we like, we can just lock it. And that way it's not going to keep updating every time. So it's just going to stay there until we hit the unlocked again. And then it goes back to updating. You can keep changing between long and short, lock it, whatever you want. And it'll just keep constantly updating as it goes. Let's go back to the indicators. So your offset, you can select the percentage is, so for example, 0.1 will be 10%, and that takes 10% of your range and adds it to the entry side. If you were to do this with your stop, let's say 0.2, that's 20%, that adds it to the stop side. And with your offset, it's going to pick the largest of the 3 numbers. So if there's a scenario where a percentage will be higher than the ticks and you prefer that, then in that scenario, it will automatically pick the percentage. But if there's other scenarios where the ticks will be higher, it automatically picks that for you as well. So whichever is higher, that's the offset it's going to select. And if you, for whatever reason, want to take the offset and don't want to lose your numbers, you can just unselect the offset button and it will automatically just leave it without the offset. Then for the last few parameters, if you don't want this text box to appear, you can just unselect that and that goes away. And if you don't want these amazing buttons that lead you right to my Discord and my website and this video you're watching right now, then I'm not that mean, you guys. I know they can be kind of annoying. You can just unselect that, apply, and they're gone forever. Well, that's the end of this video. If you're looking for this indicator or any of my other ones, you can find them at TradeSaber.com, or they'll all be posted on my Discord, so make sure you guys check it out. If you guys found this video helpful, make sure you drop a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. But that is all for now. Take care, guys. Enjoy.